In today's video, we are going to be talking about my updated 2022 House prediction as of today, May 30th of 2022. So let's get right into today's video. Starting with the first state, the state of Alabama. I don't have much disagreements with this user-generated map, which is just a map generated by 272win. Going to Alaska, I don't have much to talk about there. In the state of Arizona, I think the incumbent Greg Stanton in the Arizona 4th District Democrat will be able to hold on. I think David Schroederwert, the more Trumpian Republican in the 1st District, should be able to hold on. I think Tom Holland will lose, given that his district right now is much more liberal. And Ann Kirkpatrick is not running for re-election. Even if he will likely lose in this district. Arkansas, I really don't have much to talk about there. California, we're going to be starting to edit this user-generated map. Let's first go to the state of California. Now for the state of California, looking at some of this, my first, so I think California 13th, likely speaking, was able to go to Joe Biden by a margin of 11.4 percentage points. I think that this race would be tilted for the Democratic Party, but for the 27th district, I do think it will be lean, not tilt. I think I accidentally pressed on the wrong district. I think that Mike Garcia will be a very strong candidate and should be able to win re-election. Now going to the Los Angeles area. As you can see, Michelle Steele, I think, should be able to win, I think, by a decently large margin. I think by a likely margin for Michelle Steele. While for the other candidates, I think Mike Levin, a lean margin, Katie Porter, likely a tilt margin, but that will end the state of California. The state of Colorado, I think for the 7th district, that should be lean Democrat. The 8th district should be lean Republican as well. Now for the state of Connecticut, I think generally, I do agree with this characterization, but I do think that the 5th district will be a lean Democratic map. Delaware, Florida. Now going to the state of Florida, looking at this, I do mostly agree with these projections. I think that actually this is a very solid prediction going to the state of Florida. There are a lot of districts that were competitive in 2020, but they all went to Donald Trump, and the closest district is I believe is the 27th district. But Trump was able to win, and in a red wave, this should go Republican. The 28th district will be a similar story. The 15th district in the Tampa Bay area is open, but this is a pretty conservative district. The 4th district also went to Trump by 7, so that is also a pretty conservative district. Going to the state of Georgia, I do think that Georgia 6th district will be safe for the Republican Party. I do think that the 2nd will be lean, but otherwise this map is pretty decent. Illinois here, starting with the 13th district, I think this could be lean, this could be tilt. I'm gonna go that this race is gonna be tilt because I think that in this national environment, the Democratic Party is just not gonna do too well. Lauren Underwood, I believe it's the 6th district. In the state of Illinois, we're gonna go to Illinois 6th district. I think this district is gonna be slightly more competitive. It was a Biden plus 11 seat. I think it's going to be a D+4 seat at the end of this election, but overall speaking, Illinois, a very Democratic gerrymandered state, not going to have much interesting elections. Now for the state of Iowa, I do generally agree with this projection. Kansas, I think that Sharice Davids is running for the election. This race will still be decently close, but that does not mean she will be able to win. Going to the state of Kentucky, I think this is Kentucky. We don't really have much to talk about. Similar in Louisiana here, Maine, will be able to, probably will lose by a lean margin, if not a likely margin, but I'll just go lean, given that he is a pretty good incumbent. Going to Maryland here, I think that the 6th district will nearly go Democrat. I'm not going to be surprised if it does go Republican. Massachusetts, we don't have much to talk about there. Now for Peter Midger, I do think that he'll end up winning re-election, given that it is a red wave. Now, this district did go, I believe, to Biden by 7.7, if I'm remembering that correctly. it's 8.6, so even larger margin. But I do think that in the end, Peter Major will be narrowly able to hold on because I believe he is a more moderate incumbent, and I think that the Grand Rapids area will likely shift back to the Republicans a little bit, given that this is a midterm election. Lisa Slotkin is in a Biden plus 0.9 district. Given the national environment, I don't think it should be super surprising that she will end up losing. And I think for the 8th district, previously tilt Democrat, I will get a tilt Republican on this one, because as I did consider the fact that the national environment is just so bad for the Democratic Party. Although Roe v. Wade is overturned, I think it's not going to have as much of an impact as I expected earlier on. I do think that 2nd district will be lean GOP rather than tilt GOP. I think Dean Phillips, this race could go likely very well for him. I do still lean that this race will end up going safe for him. Now, this is a Biden plus 21.4 district, so yeah. Now going to the next state, the state of Mississippi. We don't have much to talk about there. Missouri, we really don't have much there either. Montana, I do agree the 1st district could be close in a closer election. It could actually go down to lean in 2024, 2026, or something like that, but it should still go Republican in 2022. Nebraska, Don Bacon, pretty popular incumbent in his home district, gonna easily win the election. Nevada here, I don't really agree with this. I think Steve Hosford will be able to win re-election, but I do think that Nia Titus will lose. She's in practically a 20-point more Republican district right now. Let me see. So Nevada, previously her district was D plus 25.6, now it's D plus 8.7. So given that, I do think that she'll end up losing re-election. Going to the state of New Hampshire, this is the only state that has not finalized their map, as there is still arguments about that the proposed map by Tsunami be accepted, or the GOP map be accepted. Now going to the state of New Jersey, I think this is a decent map. I'm not going to argue with this. New Mexico, I think this is also pretty decent. Yvette Herrell could, I think, actually would be able to win about a likely margin, but otherwise this is a pretty solid map. New York, I do have a lot of disagreements with this map. I think John Katko, although he's not running for re-election, I think that he might actually end up entering in this race, considering that at first it was thought that his district would be like a D plus 20 district, but it turns out that the map was stricken down. He might end up trying to seek for re-election and easily soar to re-election, and this district is actually more competitive, more Republican leaning than previously was. And just to give national environment, it should be a lean Republican seat. Now going to 19th district, sure, it is a Biden plus 4.7 seat, 3 points more Democratic though. I still think that this race will be much closer than a likely margin. I think that this race will nearly go Republican given the national environment. And yeah. Now the 18th district, I do think that this district will not nearly go to the Democratic Party, just based on the fact that this is a Biden almost plus 10 district, and for the 17th district, similar story here, will be a lean Democratic district. I don't think these two districts will be too much. It will be argued Tom Suzy is retiring to run for governor. The open seat is definitely an easier target for the GOP. This race will be a tilt margin, but otherwise I'm pretty satisfied with this map. North Carolina here, I think Kathy Manning in the 6th district will win by a margin. This makes sense to me. The 13th district, I think, will be a lean Republican seat, and the 1st district, I do agree, will be a tilt Democratic seat. Going to the state of Ohio here, I think Steve Chabot will nearly able to hold on now. Looking at this race here in the state of Ohio, the state of Ohio does have its new 1st district be a Biden plus 8.6 district, where previously it was a Trump plus 3.3 district. That being said, the national environment does make me think that nearly Steve Chabot should be able to hold on. The other districts, I mean, all the competitive districts except the 13th did go to Donald Trump, so it shouldn't be much of a surprise that these incumbents will end up losing. But I think Mike Carey will likely win by a likely margin, not a safe margin this time round. I think the 13th, Anthony Gonzalez, although not running for re-election in 2022, I mean, in the end, this district is still a district that is wildly trending Republican. That's why I still think it will be a lean Republican seat. Going to the state of Oregon, Kurt Schrader, I think the margin is a pretty good margin for him. And the 6th district, a open seat. This was a Biden plus 10 seat, I believe. So, I believe around a D plus 10 seat. Yeah, this is a D plus 13.7 seat, so that should go to the Democratic Party as well. Going to the state of Pennsylvania here. Pennsylvania, the state that Biden was born in, of course. Brian Fitzpatrick should be able to win. I think Scott Perry should be able to win. Carl Lamb is returning to run for the U.S. Senate, of course. He lost in the Democratic primary, so yeah, that's that. I think without him, this race will be much tougher for the Democratic Party. Susan Wild, I don't think is going to win. I think she's still in a Democratic district, but it's very, very narrow. It's just 0.6% for the Democrats. And the 8th district was always a Trump district. That's why I think this race will go lean Republican. Rhode Island here, Rhode Island second. The incumbent here had some scandals. Now not running for re-election. I think if he's running, he'll actually do worse than if he's not running for Democrats. So it's a likely Democratic seat there. So going to the state of North Dakota. Okay, so Tennessee, we don't have much. Texas, I do think Henry Cuellar in this very contested primary. I mean, me on Twitter, EPA Decision Desk did call this race for Henry Cuellar in the Democratic primary. He's currently garnering 50.2% of the vote, but that does mean that 49.8% of the party are united against him in such a close race. Many of those voters will not turn out and result in his loss. I think it will be very narrow, but I do think Henry Cuellar will not be able to do well, and also this is a trending Republican district, so if Jessica Cisneros is the nominee, this race will fare even worse for the Democratic Party, and that pretty much ends this talk. Now for the state of Virginia, I think Elaine Luria would definitely lose. I think at this point in the national environment, and just her district not being that liberal to start off with just isn't going to help him in the state of Virginia. Now, this is a Biden plus 3.1 seat, but this district has this new district is 2 points more Republican. And that's why I do think that this race should end up going for the Republican Party. I think Abigail Spanberger has most things going right for her, but she just does not have the year to end up winning this election. Washington Kim Schrader will not win re-election. He's in a district that I believe Biden did win, but by a very narrow margin. I'm assuming about 2 or 3 points. It's actually 7 points. I'm sorry, but I just still don't think the Democrats will be able to win. Now going to the final few states here. West Virginia, we don't have much to talk about. Wisconsin, I don't think this is too surprising. I'm going to leave it as that. Wyoming, this is the end of today's prediction. If you like this video, do like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Help me get to 250 subscribers. I thank you all so much for watching today's video. Like, subscribe, and comment. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Bye!